This conference will now be recorded.
Awesome, that's good. So let's get started. So for the next 90 minutes is going to be fun. So we'll discuss a lot, and I will show you a lot of things into AWS. Okay, so before we getting started, okay, I just want to know this webinar is all about a beginners to get started in AWS. Let's imagine what is AWS. So let's imagine if you are working professionally, want to get a job, so you need to have some cloud skills. Obviously, everything is a cloud, right? So before we getting started, so we need to talk about generally in the perspective of cloud. What is this cloud, right? So there are a lot of cloud providers outside, right? What we discussed, like Google, Microsoft Azure, so Alibaba. So here we are talking about AWS today, right? So the era is cloud. Obviously every companies is moving towards the cloud platform. So having a knowledge about a cloud, right, it adds a huge weightage in your resume, right? That's what exactly everyone is here today. So I just want to know before we start this webinar, so how many of you guys are beginners to AWS? You don't have any idea about AWS. What is this AWS? What we can do with that? So if you are a beginner, you can just say yes in the chat window. Let me know how many people are there. Or if you are, if you have some knowledge on AWS already, so you can say, you can just say, okay, I have some knowledge, or maybe you can just say, okay, I'm experienced, something like that. Okay, I can see a lot of s's, I can see a lot of beginners. Awesome. So it's for you guys, it's going to be fun today. So thanks Aju, and so a lot of names: Bharat, Surya Prakash, um, Elcott. So thank you for putting up your messages. Thanks for your engagement, right? Okay, so let's get started. So let me make this webinar more productive for you. So you'll get some, once you complete this 90 minutes webinar, I'm sure like you'll get some idea about what is this AWS, what you can do with that. So what we are mainly focusing on this particular webinar. So this particular webinar is completely designed based on a certification program in AWS. It's called AWS Solution Architect Associate. So that's a beginner level certification. So this webinar is going to provide you some idea about. So let's imagine you want to get started with AWS. What are the things you need to know, right? That's what exactly I'm going to deliver today. Okay, awesome. Let's get started. So before that, a tiny introduction about me. Obviously, right? You need to know who am I first of all. So here I'm teaching something for you guys, right? So my name is Sharat Kumar. So I'm a founder and CEO of a company called Psitron Technologies. We are based out of India, Bangalore. So first of all, what we do, so we are not a hardcore training based company in the first hand. So if you consider I'm a training based company, I'm just giving training for you. No, it's not. So we are actually a product based company. So what we do, we are into AWS. We are into much into, let's imagine, AWS machine learning, artificial intelligence. I mean, we work with manufacturing industries, we work with automobile industries, other corporates who want to migrate to the cloud, who are looking for AI solutions, IoT solutions. We provide for them. So that's a hard part of a company. So that's a core part of a company. And we also do this trainings, and so we focus much on, let's imagine, certification courses, workshops in the training perspective, if I want to talk. So we do a lot of hands-on workshops. Okay, so personally I did more than 30 plus webinars and various different topics like machine learning, AI, IoT, AWS, right? So, and more than 40 plus workshops and courses, that is hands-on. So personally I've trained more than 5,000 peoples. So yes, this is a simple profile about me. So yeah, so you can find more details about me. You can connect with LinkedIn. You can join our community group, I mean WhatsApp group or maybe Facebook group, where we'll keep on pushing lot of data for you. So yeah, you can keep on engaging with us. Okay, let's get started with today's topic, what we are talking about, AWS. And these are the 5 things that we will be focusing in this 90 minutes. So one is introduction to Amazon Web Services, and few important services that you need to know. So when you're getting started, like compute services, and obviously the necessity services like understanding databases and storage services, and understanding about the security and identity compliances. I mean, so if you're getting started with AWS, you need to know about the security aspects of it. And more importantly, what is waiting for you guys, let's imagine once you are having some enough knowledge on AWS and basic services. So what kind of a job that you can get, what is the opportunity, how the opportunity is in different countries, we're also going to analyze that too. Okay, so here is the thing. Okay, so here is the pledge that you need to make. So stay till end of this webinar. So stay till end of this webinar. So you only for the people who stay till end of this webinar, they will be receiving ebooks along with the recordings of this particular webinar through email. Okay, so if you're going to exit, you probably you will not get it. Okay, but yeah, make sure you still stay till end of this webinar. It's going to be fun and a lot of knowledge is going to come on the way. Awesome. Let's get started. Okay, so I hope everything is fine. Let's get started. So first, let us get started with a simple introduction about Amazon Web Services. Okay, so AWS, right? So you know that there are a lot of different cloud industries outside, right? So today we are talking about AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is from Amazon. Okay, so and you might know that there are some different cloud platforms like Google Cloud. Then we have Microsoft Azure, we have Alibaba, and IBM, lot of things, right? So we're going to talk about what is the specialty about AWS. So first of all, why AWS, right? So why not Microsoft Azure? Every cloud industries are good. Obviously, there is no black mark on them, so they have their individual customer bases. But what we're going to see today is AWS. What is so much specialty on that? So first of all, let us get started with the history. Okay, the AWS cloud history, how they are getting started. I mean, in initial stages of AWS cloud. Okay, so when they are initially they are a startup, let's imagine some kind of a thing. So they initially launched AWS cloud for the internal usage. Let's imagine, so Amazon is there. So we know that we are fans of Amazon, right? We buy we used to use Amazon for buying books, electronic gadgets, anything, right? So we know that Amazon is a global e-commerce companies, right? So Amazon.com, Amazon.in, in case if you're from India, right? So they use their services for internally for their own services. Then they started launching their the services like IT services to the public. Let's imagine in 2006, say they relaunched their services for SQS S3. S3 is a storage service. We'll discuss on that today. Okay, so it's going to be fun. And EC2, the virtual service where you can host a virtual service, right? So then they launched AWS for public. I mean, AWS is available right now throughout the globe, right? So in case you are joining from, let's imagine, Asia, Africa, or maybe Americas, in different continent, they have managed to cover AWS in all the continents. And mostly, like, you can see, like, in case if you're joining from India, yes, you have a region available in AWS. So in case you're from US, in case you're from South Africa, so there are AWSs everywhere. Okay, so we'll discuss on that. And today, okay, you won't believe there are more than, let's imagine, 1.5 million customers they use AWS. Yes, 1.5 million, more than 1.5 million customers they use AWS. I'm talking about every kind of customers. It may be B2C or B2B clients. Everyone uses AWS. Let's discuss more. Like, you know that the great example, every when we talk about AWS, okay, everyone talks about one single company is a good example for them is Netflix, right? Who is this Netflix here? Tell me, yes, in case if you're using Netflix. Okay, so if you're streaming some movies, yeah, you might be streaming the latest. I'm watching the latest series in Netflix, Money Heist. I love Money Heist, so I watch it in Netflix. You might be using a Netflix, right? If you know, like, where how Netflix is completely running on AWS. If you don't know how Netflix operates, so yeah, here we go. So Netflix uses complete AWS services. So Netflix uses their storage services, ML services. They use a complete AWS to run their entire platform. Okay. So then obviously NASA. So the government is using AWS, US government. So Airbnb. I can keep on mentioning a lot of companies. Obviously, like 1,000 slides is not enough just mentioning about them. So yeah, this is what exactly the cloud share of that cloud industries are. So here I have managed to list statistics from Statistica. You can also find this data from an internet. So this is the data that represents the cloud share throughout the market. So you can see Amazon holds almost like 33% of the cloud industry. So then comes Microsoft Azure, then comes Google Cloud, Alibaba, then other different cloud industries. That's how it is. So what does this means? What is the main takeaway from this particular slide? So obviously Amazon Cloud Infrastructure Services, they are leading a cloud industry by more than 100 billion. right? So that means it's directly proportional to the amount of job opportunities that are available in the cloud sector, especially on AWS, right? So it may be any kind of a cloud sector. You might be serving from e-commerce, you might be serving for, let's imagine, a medical, you might be serving for a sport company, you might be serving for some different branches of IT sectors, right? So the opportunity is everywhere in terms of AWS, obviously. Okay, so this is the report from the Gartner. So let's imagine in the year of 2019, AWS had around 35.02 billion in annual revenue. So that means AWS accounts for 40 percentage of 47 percentage in a cloud entire market around 2019. So that is, if you compare that with the Microsoft, it's just 22 percentage. So this is actually the report from a Gartner that believes the AWS is a pioneer in a cloud industries, obviously. So there are more than, let's imagine, a million active users in AWS. Obviously, after completing this webinar, you will be also eager to create an AWS account and you'll be getting started. So anyone can create a AWS account. It's completely free. Okay, so you don't want to pay any upfront money for AWS. AWS provides 1 year free trial, so you can explore AWS completely for free for next 1 year. I mean, any kind of a services. Let's imagine if you want to explore compute services, databases, if you want to host a website for completely for free in AWS. I mean, for hosting space, what I'm talking about, you can host a website completely on AWS. That's completely free. So that's how AWS operates. AWS provides a complete space for you. You can come and operate, build something, and obviously then you can grow in a complete scale. So that's how entire AWS works. So AWS cloud use cases. So AWS enables you to build a sophisticated, scalable applications. Obviously, you can see Netflix, for example. Netflix is completely happy with them. So like you bring, so they accept n number of users. Okay, come you. So they get n number of users. They never worry about. Let's imagine they never worry about. Okay, what happens if I get a huge traffic? Will my server will crash? Whether what happens if my air conditioning unit fails? What happens if my network fails? Netflix doesn't worry about anything, right? So because Netflix only manages a software, right? They put a software, they write a code, they have a platform. So the entire hardware architect, the hardware platform. So what I'm talking about, maybe managing a network, managing electricity, everything is taken care by AWS. Okay, so that's how it works. So let's imagine AWS provides the services into various sectors. It may be enterprises, IT services. Otherwise, if you're planning for a backup and storage services, otherwise you are a guy who want to work on a big data analytics, machine learning, AI. So AWS into everything. So otherwise, you want to host a websites on it, or maybe you want to launch a mobile or social apps on top of it. So you can use AWS. Or are you a fans of game developer? Are you a game developer? You want to host a gaming services on AWS? Yes, here we go. AWS is opportunity for you. So we can just mention n number of services, n number of customers from different IT sectors. I mean, a single slide is not more than enough, but I try to put a single slide where you can understand a few. Let's imagine customers who's in a heart customers in entire AWS usage, maybe Netflix. Let's imagine Amazon itself, their customers. It may be NASA. We can keep on mentioning it. So, AWS infrastructure, how the global infrastructure is organized throughout the entire globe. Okay, so we can categorize into these things. AWS region, what do they used to call? AWS available zones, AWS data centers, AWS edge locations, or points of presence. Okay, so what do you mean by that? Is nothing but, so AWS regions are basically the locations where they have multiple data centers. For example, let's imagine, so I am from India, so we have in India. So there are two regions as of right now. I mean, one in Mumbai, so one in Hyderabad is coming up. So AWS Mumbai, so we have a region over there. So a single region will have a lot of available zones actually, right? So single region will have a lot of available zones. Available zones are tiny, tiny data centers. They are together used to form, let's imagine, AWS region, for example. So the AWS data centers is location. So I would like to just need to go to this particular link so I can show what I'm talking about. So let me just go to that link. Yeah, here we go. So we are talking about regions and available zones actually. So it can be splitted into three maps. Let's imagine maybe North America, so South America, or maybe Europe, or Middle East, Africa, or Asia Pacific. So you can try to analyze so which region that you are coming from. Let's imagine if you're coming from Asia Pacific, so you can check what are the regions that are available in Asia Pacific region. So if I go to regions or maybe available zones, otherwise I can directly show in AWS once I log in. So maybe let's get back to the slides. Yep. So here we go. So here I have listed down a list of available regions which are available. So for example, a region is a specific name that they represent. For example, you can see here I have a block which represents particular regions. So these are the US based regions. We have US in Virginia, and we have a region in Ohio, then we have a region in California and Oregon. So these are the a list of regions that is dedicated to US, let's imagine. Okay, so let's imagine a companies who want to host application on AWS. They want to develop something on AWS. Maybe US based companies might use that particular regions. We'll discuss about that one. So obviously, okay, there are a lot of regions, right? There are regions in Africa, there are regions in Asia, there are regions in Europe, right? How do I pick a right region? So let's imagine I'm from India, maybe you are from Singapore. How do I pick a region? What are the right practices? We'll talk about that one also. So each and every region has a specific code they represent. I mean, simply they will not call region as North Virginia or maybe Ohio. That represents a name, but there are a specific code that represents a specific region. For example, for let's imagine North Virginia, they represent it as US-East-1. Okay, so otherwise you are from India, so we have a region in Mumbai that can be represented as AP-South-1. Okay, so that's it. So let us discuss how do I pick a right region, how to choose an AWS region. This is a for the beginners in AWS. Let's imagine. So so you want to get started with AWS, or maybe you're working for a company who uses AWS, and you guys are really confused which region to use, right? So how do I make a proper decision onto it? So you can split it into, let's imagine, four criteria here. Okay, so one is compliance, proximity, and maybe available services, or maybe a pricing. Okay, so how do I decide on this? What is this compliances in a first hand? Okay, so compliance is with the data governance and legal requirements. So the data never leaves a region without your explicit permission. So what do I mean by that? So let's imagine. So if you're really, so let's imagine you have a very strong policies of a government. Let's imagine if you have a very strong data privacy act in your country. So in case if you are from UK, in case if you're from US, in case you're from India. So each and every country has different data privacy acts. So if you let's imagine, and again the second thing comes into the picture, the kind of a use case. For example, let's imagine if you're trying to build a social media platform like something similar to Facebook or Twitter, something alternative that you're coming up. Okay, so and if your country has a strong data privacy act and your government is not letting their customers data, never, they are not going to let you to leave that data to, let's imagine, to outside the country. So then yeah, probably you need to decide to pick a region which is part of your country. For example, let's imagine I'm from India, so I'm building a social media platform, so where I have a strong data privacy act. So then I will pick AWS Mumbai region itself for my region. So, but then you can ask me a question. So then let's imagine I want to occupy our customers in Mumbai. I want to occupy our customers in, let's imagine, so I want to occupy customers in US. I want to occupy customers in Singapore. So obviously there are regions available there also. You can host your applications over there. So that's a one thing that you need to seriously think about, the compliances and the proximity. So what do you mean by proximity to your customers to reduce latency? So latency matters. So you can see this entire you can see this entire regions, what I am just trying to display in this particular slide. You can see we have multiple regions available in multiple countries. So this entire AWS region network is connected with a complete optical fiber cables throughout under the seas, obviously under the oceans. So, but still, yes, there is some latency that you need to seriously worry about. So let's imagine in terms of proximity. So the suggestion would be, let's imagine to pick a region which is near to your customers, obviously. So let's imagine I'm from India, I want to host some applications. So it won't be a right practice for me to pick a region in North Virginia. So I will suggest you to pick a region in Mumbai. That would be good. So the latency can be in multiple matters. One is, let's imagine you have some lot of traffic coming into the picture, right? Okay, let's imagine a lot of traffic coming into the picture of a Singapore region. A lot of people use as a Singapore region. Obviously, that also matters in a latency, right? And one more scenario is available services within a region. So what do you mean by available services? So obviously, still I have not talked about the list of services what is AWS offers, right? So a quick insight about that. So AWS is a cloud for the entire. It's an entire for the any kind of IT services that you want to use. Let's imagine AWS offers compute-related services. AWS offers database services. AWS offers storage services. AWS offers machine learning services. AWS offers IoT services. AWS offers blockchain services. AWS offers, let's imagine, security related services. I can keep on mentioning, right? I can keep on mentioning it. So you can see available services means like not every AWS services is available in all the regions. So yes, that's true. Let's imagine we are talking about machine learning services, for example. So the machine learning service which is available in North Virginia may not be available in Mumbai. So the service which is available in India, in Mumbai may not be available in North Virginia. So that's how it works. So you need to also see, let's imagine you want to build a startup, you want to decided to build some company out of AWS like Netflix. So first of all, you need to decide what are the services that you're going to use. So do I need databases services? Do I need compute services? Do I need any hosting services to host my website? Do I need domain services like Route 53 is a platform where you can buy a domains in AWS. So you need to decide whether all those services are in Mumbai. So because I want to host the services in Mumbai, so that also matters. And obviously at the end of the day, we talk about pricing, right? So because AWS is not a free service, any cloud platform we are talking about, AWS, Google, Microsoft, Azure, whatever it is, right? They are not a free services at the end of the day, right? So they are the paid services. So we need to seriously think about the pricing of those different regions, obviously. So we are talking about multiple regions, what region to pick. It may be whether I need to pick Mumbai region, North Virginia, Singapore, right? So the price points actually varies. Price points actually varies from different regions. Not actually much, but there is a slight changes in the pricing structure also. You need to also see how that pricing works, whether it is the pricing is comfortable for you in that particular region. That also matters actually. Okay. So that's four things that you need to keep in a mind. So if you are a beginner, so when you're deciding what kind of services to choose, which region to choose, right? And proximity, the latency if you're worrying about, yeah, those things. And we are talking about this available zones. We know what is this regions. Regions has available zones inside, okay? So what do you mean by this available zones? So available zones are basically, let's imagine a tiny data centers within that region. So those codes can be represented as something like this: AP Southeast. That is, AP Southeast is a region, and 2A, 2B, 2C that you're seeing here, it can be an available zones inside one single region. So something like this, like all these available regions are connected together. Like let's imagine AP South is 2A, AP South is 2B, AP South is 2C. They are connected together, and that can be called as a AWS region. So something like this, let's imagine this is our Mumbai city, for example. Let's imagine I have a three buildings. Yeah, so I have a building one, building two, building three. So AWS has different data centers in many different, three different data centers. So these three different data centers are connected together to form a AWS Mumbai region. So what is a great advantage of this particular architecture? Do you know something about this? So it's all about one is data protection, One more thing is obviously escaping from the huge disasters. Let's imagine, okay, so let's imagine you're running $1 million or maybe $1 billion. Why do we stick to million? We will go for $1 billion. So let's imagine you are running a $1 billion company, right? So something similar to Netflix, right? So let's imagine, so you're using AWS Mumbai region or maybe any different region, okay? So you're hosting all your services over there. So if something really happens, so the act of God, right? What you're talking about, maybe an earthquake, maybe a tsunami, or something hit the AWS data center. Maybe the one data center is completely gone under the water, right? That's real. That's not going to happen. But anyway, let's imagine the worst case scenario: one region gone under the water. But you might be getting, so you might be getting, you might be getting afraid. So because the region is completely gone, so my company is going to completely, my users are going to leave a company, right? So obviously your complete service is going to be offline. If you think, no, it's not going to happen. So still, if one region fails, immediately your data will be available in other two regions, so that helps you escape from the disasters. So that's how the things work. So that's a beauty of AWS available zones, actually, right? So, and AWS has something called points of presence, the edge locations. So inside what we're talking about, the regions, totally Amazon has, let's imagine, 216 points of presence. I mean 250, 205, sorry, 205 edge locations. So totally they are available in 84 cities across 42 countries, actually, right? So this actually, the point of presence services delivers, let's imagine we are talking about the content, what has to be delivered to your end users with very low latency, right? That's what the scenario is, right? So, and let's get started. So why do we just talk? Like, let me show you something on AWS, right? Let me show you my console, how the AWS console look. Let's have a tour of AWS console, right? So we'll talk about what are the different kinds of services they are available. It may be IAM services, Route 53, CloudWatch. There are a lot, obviously. So you can see here, I try to display this particular slide, what you're trying to see here. These are the list of available services. I mean, these are the available services what AWS offers. Obviously, each and every services has multiple sub services that you can still discuss. So let's get started. Let's have some fun. So I'm just going to share my AWS account slide. Yeah, let me. Yep, here we go. So let's have a tour of AWS anyway. So sit tight, and we're going to have a tour right now. So grab some coffee, grab some snacks. Let's get started now. So here we go. This is my AWS management console, otherwise my AWS account, obviously. Okay. So this is my AWS account. Anyone can create AWS um, free trial account, and you will get 1 year free trial. So go get started and go and create an AWS free account today, so you can start experimenting. So once you create AWS account, so your AWS console will look something like this. So this will be your home page, for example. Okay. And so the main the important things that you need to remember once you are logged in, and if you are a beginner, so the first thing is, to a top left corner, you can see there is an AWS logo, right? There is an AWS logo with a beautiful smile on it. So AWS logo, let's imagine if you're anywhere in the services. Let's imagine you're working on let's imagine you are working on EC2 service, or maybe some other services inside, and you want to come back to a home page. I mean, you stuck somewhere but you don't know how to come to home page. Make sure you hit on this AWS logo on the top left corner. You'll be coming back to the management console, actually. Okay. And you can see there is a menu which says services. You can check my cursor. If I hit on that cursor, you'll get the list of services here. And here we go. So here I have a list of services. If I scroll, you can see I have all services option here. Here I have analytics services, application integration services, yeah, services related to AR and VR. If you're a guy who works much on AR and VR, AWS cost management services, blockchain services. So here we go. So blockchains, if you are a guy who works much on a blockchains, you want to construct something like that. So you can use blockchain services here. So then we have business application services, compute services, like where you can use services like EC2, right? So if I hit on compute services, you will get list of services inside compute. So I can click on analytics services, you will get list of services inside analytics. So Athena, CloudWatch, AWS Data Exchange, there are different services which are available. So we have compute services, EC2, Elastic, Beanstalk, Lambda. There are different services. Container services are there. So then we have customer enablement services, database services. So AWS got every databases that are available in the world inside one single cloud platform on AWS. So AWS Document DB. So AWS Document DB is nothing but a fully managed MongoDB. In case if you're aware about databases, you might be heard about MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database. So DynamoDB, again, AWS most powerful database they have built, that is DynamoDB, right? So they have developer tools, end user compute services, front end and web application. So this is, here we go. So in case if you are a full stack developer, you want to host a website on AWS, like you can use a services like AWS Amplify, which is a completely managed service. So then we have game development services, Internet of Things, which I love most, obviously. So in case if you want to develop an IoT service, a smart home, maybe smart industries, Industry 4.0 use cases, anything is possible on this. Machine learning services, I'm a favorite on this. We do a lot of machine learning workshops, courses even on this. So AWS has got a lot into machine learning, obviously. So reInvent, AWS do a lot of reInvent conferences. AWS reInvent is going on. So now they have released a lot of AI services, new AI services. I'm very much eager to explore that too. So there's a lot of AI services available, and we have manage and governance services, media services, migration and transfer, network and content delivery services, quantum computing. Here we go. So quantum computing, which is again like the latest trending technology what every scientist talk about right now, right? So the next, so the quantum technology has capabilities to what to mention, I mean, to revolutionize the entire the way the computer operates. Okay. Yeah. So quantum technologies are available, robotic services are available, satellite services are available. And finally, we have a service called security and identity and compliances. So this is where you manage, let's imagine, all your security aspects, policies, all those stuff. And here we go. Finally, we have storage services. So storage services, the most important storage service is S3. So S3 is the most powerful storage service and affordable low-cost services Amazon has built. And still, there are a lot of other storage services that you can obtain inside. Okay, this is all it. So AWS got not one, not two. They have more than one or two services inside, right? So each and every services has a multiple sub services inside. So AWS basically got everything that you need an IT company to be built on top of it by using this. So yeah, so you can obtain any services here. So mostly all the AWS services comes inside a free trial. You can explore that to the minimum given time, actually. It's for free. So, and here we have a search option. You can search anything over here. Obviously, if you are not sure how to access these services clearly, so maybe I want to access DynamoDB. I can just type DynamoDB here. I will get this option here, DYNAMODB. So I can just click. I will be diverted to DynamoDB console. So as easy as it is. And if I go towards left side, right side still, you can see there is a icon for Cloud Shell. Actually, so the Cloud Shell is nothing but it's a CLI, which is a cloud hosted shell, actually. So you can, so instead of, if you're not comfortable in accessing, let's imagine, AWS management console, I mean through UI, I mean, so obviously you can't do much on UI. Let's imagine I want to execute some commands, I want to launch my EC2 server, you want to run some scripts on Lambda, different things that you want to do, let's imagine. Okay, so you can do with UI, yes, but much complex things you can't do. Obviously, you can use a CLI, a command line interface, to do that, right? So AWS has a separate CLI software which is called AWS CLI. They have two versions in it. You can install that AWS CLI on your Mac, Windows, Linux, and instead of you accessing AWS through management console, you can access AWS through your command lines. Obviously, that is possible. So instead of you installing application, you can also use a cloud shell, basically, to access AWS services. I mean, so yeah, which is nothing but which looks something like this. Okay, simply you can come and execute your commands here, basically. So which looks like obviously it's a Amazon Linux hosted platform. So you can simply just run commands. Let's imagine I want to upload some data to S3 storage servers, right? Otherwise, I want to run some applications, right? So you can use a cloud shell, actually. So then we have this tiny bell icon over here. So this tiny bell icon, actually, it's a notification platform where you get in case if something goes wrong in your account, you'll get some issues, schedule changes, some all this notification related details will be listed over here. And we have this support option. If I hit the support option, you can contact support center. AWS provides a premium supporting services. You can also pay money for supporting services. AWS provides technical services, what I'm talking about. So they provide technical services. Billing services are always free. Obviously, if you want to contact AWS for billing related issues, let's imagine if you got some unusual bill amount to your AWS, you can contact AWS billing management services for free. And obviously, you can also contact technical services. AWS provides technical services. I mean, AWS will not write a code for you. I mean, if you have anything that related to writing a code, they won't support you. But let's imagine you have some issues facing in DynamoDB, you have some issues facing in some other EC2 services, any services, they can help you. So, but technical services are paid services. So obviously, as an individual, when you're getting started, you don't need that kind of a services. So only for the enterprises who are building something, they might need technical services. And other help related documents you can find here. Yep. And here we go. You can see something over here which says Mumbai for me, right? So what do you mean by that? So what is this Mumbai? Mumbai is my region. If I hit on this drop down, this is what I'm talking about. These are the list of regions what AWS offers. So you can see right now I am in Asia Pacific Mumbai AP-South-1. That means that is a region that I'm picking as of right now. So you can pick any region that you like. So in case if you want to host your application on North Virginia, California, Cape Town, South Africa, right, London, anywhere. So, but when you're a beginner, I will not suggest you to use multiple regions for your use cases. If you're a beginner, I will suggest you to get started, decide which region that you need to use for your particular use case, stick to that region. So I have seen a lot of beginners who are just learning AWS how to use it. So let's imagine they will be initially sticking to Mumbai or maybe any region, for example. They'll be getting started with one region, but by mistake, once after they logging in with again, let's imagine after usage, you need to make sure always you check your region is selected. Sometimes let's imagine if you're let's imagine I choose Mumbai region, then by I erased all my cookies, browsing history, let's imagine. Okay, then you're logging in again with AWS. So AWS will pick some default region available. Okay, so you there is a high chances you might be using different region in a second time when you're logging in. Okay, so make sure each and every time once you're logging in, make sure you are in the right region. That's an important thing that you need to see, actually. Okay, so this is about region. If I pick, let's imagine North Virginia, it will reload the page. That means my North Virginia location has been choose right now. So this is the important things that you need to make sure in how to pick the region. So once you are done with the region, so then we need to understand one more thing. You can see here my account name. I just given it as a Edge Inventive. So this is my account name. I mean, you can give your own name if you're using your own personal account. So otherwise, if a company is hosting their company is having an account, they will be giving their company's name probably. So here I just have my account name. Here I have my account ID. I mean, AWS provides unique account ID for every account, so you'll get it information over there. So I can go to my account information, organization information, where you fill your address, organization name. I can go to billing dashboard. So billing dashboard is a console where you can track in case if you're getting any bills. So AWS provides a detailed information about your bills, actually, how much consumption that you have made. So AWS always works. AWS has a business model that is pay as you go. I mean, so the AWS is only going to charge you for the amount of time that you used your services. Let's imagine the amount of storage that you put in your services. So AWS has such a kind of a business model which helps any kind of a companies or maybe a startups, especially to build and scale their products as soon as possible in AWS. So here, once you come to your billing management console, in case if you have any bills, it will represent here, and they have their beautiful forecasting feature here. It will mention, so what would be your forecasted bill for next month. Let's imagine. So this forecasting application actually helps you to decide or to, let's imagine, to plan what would be your amount of bill that is AWS is going to generate for the next month. Okay. And if you scroll down, you can also manage your top free trial services. I mean, once you register AWS account, AWS provides 1 year free trial. As I mentioned, you can monitor all your free trial limits. So one thing you need to remember, AWS provides AWS for free for 1 year. That doesn't mean AWS provides an unlimited services for you. Okay, so each and every services has a certain limit. So if you're exceeding that limit, so the AWS is going to charge you. Okay, so you need to be, so you can also track that. So for example, AWS CloudWatch services, I just consumed 0.01 percentage. So Amazon SQS services, I consume, let's imagine, 10% of it. So if you're going to consume more than 100%, obviously it's going to generate a bill. And you can manage other details here, invoices. If AWS generates any invoices, you will find all your invoices over here. And in case if AWS provides any credits, so you can also put a credits over here. So we are into program called Activate program. We have some credits here that you can see, and other details that you can track over here. So this is about a simple tour of AWS management console. And so let's imagine, okay, now you're going to create an account. Let's imagine once after completing this webinar, you're going to create an AWS account. A few things that you need to keep in mind when you're creating an account. So obviously, once you're creating an account, AWS will ask for your email address, putting up your password, and more importantly, AWS will ask for adding a debit card or a credit card for you, because AWS is a paid service. They have to you need to provide your debit card or credit card informations to AWS for payments. So, but AWS will not charge you any upfront money. So AWS will charge 2 rupees in case of an INR. So just for the verification, they will be reimbursing that money within 4 hours or maybe 24 hours. So, and once your payment is done, so AWS will ask for some questions. They want to know who is creating AWS account. So you can just mention, okay, what's your name and what's your role? Are you a student, working professional? I can just mention that, and AWS account will be created. So yeah, that's it. So now let us go back to our slides and let's see what else that you want to see. So once we are done with our a tour of AWS, let us explore AWS compute services. Okay, so there are a lot of AWS compute services. So why compute services are very important? So we are going to talk about one compute services called Amazon EC2. Okay, Amazon EC to the power of 2. So what is this EC2? EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So it's the platform where you can host your virtual machines. Actually, let's imagine we don't have EC2. Let's forget about cloud platform. Let's imagine uh, we are talking about in the absence of cloud in the cloud platforms. So what would you do? Like, let's imagine if you want to host a websites, or maybe you want to do some content delivery, you want to host some websites. What we do the traditional way, we go and buy a server, right? We buy some enterprises server. We put up a lot of air conditioning unit, proper networking connectivity, software, a lot of things to manage, right? So here in AWS, you can also host your servers virtually by using EC2. You can EC2 provides wide variety of virtual machines for many different kinds of use cases. So EC2 is the most popular service in AWS. Obviously, when you talk about AWS, the first thing comes to the mind is EC2. That's the initial. It's one of the initial services what AWS launched initially. So they provide a virtual services for you, storing a data on virtual drive. That means EBS. EBS again, the kind of a services that you can use. So distributing a load across this ELB, elastic load balancing. I mean, so balancing your load. Then scaling the services using auto scaling group, which is called as ASG, auto scaling group. That's what do you mean by auto scaling group? So auto scaling is one of the important feature in EC2 which is available. So what do you mean by that? Let's imagine you're hosting a website on EC2. You're hosting some web content on EC2. It may be any kind of a use case. Let's imagine initially you're getting some 1,000 people visiting a day. Okay, so 1,000 people visiting a day. That means 1,000 peoples. That means that's a traffic, the limit in a day. Let's imagine once your business grows, you will get a huge traffic comes into the picture. So that means you need to enable your auto scaling group. So that means AWS can manage the compute capabilities automatically. In case if you're getting a very less traffic, it will reduce the computing power that is needed for that. Otherwise, if you're getting more traffic, it's going to automatically scale the computing power it needed actually. So that's how it works. So EC2. So let us discuss about EC2. I will also show the EC2 console, how it looks. I already launched one Ubuntu EC2 server. I will also show you how to log in inside that. Okay. So EC2 provides wide varieties of options for you to pick what kind of virtual server that you need. So you can able to size the EC2 servers accordingly. You have an options to pick the right kind of an operating system that you need. So Amazon has got all the different varieties of operating system that you might need for your applications. It may be Linux based operating system that you need, Windows based operating system that you need, or maybe even if you need a Mac OS, right? So and you have an opportunity to pick the right kind of CPUs and the amount of cores that you need in that particular CPUs. Not only that, even AWS provides a GPUs also along with that in case if it is needed. Let's imagine in the scenario we are working on a data science related use cases, right? And you have an option also to pick a right kind of a RAM for you, obviously, right? So then not only that, so you can also pick the right kind of network attached. So if you're looking for what kind of the network performance that you're looking forward for your CPU, and you have opportunity to pick the right kind of a hardware that is instance store. So network card, especially the speed of a card that decides, I mean the networking capability. Let's imagine you want to interact with internet. Let's imagine you're hosting a website or maybe some kind of an application on EC2 where your EC2 is making some API calls to public internet. So you need the right kind of the speed in the internet, right? And firewall rules, obviously, what it is called security group. What do you mean by this security group? Let's imagine I want to host a website. Then this is a very basic thing that everyone might know this. So what is the protocol website will run? Obviously the port 80, for example, right? So you need to enable that port 80 to your servers. Then only the peoples from an internet they can access your server, right? So the firewall rule, basically what we are talking about, basically what it's called inbound outbound rules in EC2. So let's imagine you want to enable SSH. You need to SSH into your EC2 server. So you need to SSH, you need to enable the port 22, for example, for SSH, right? So those kind of things. So let us go and explore EC2. I have already created an EC2 server. So let me just show you how the things look in a console. Okay, here we go. So let me just go to EC2. I can just search for EC2. Otherwise, I can go to services here. I can go to compute and I can select EC2, virtual servers in cloud. Yep. So the actual fun actually starting right now. Make sure you stay till end of this webinar. Then only you can receive an emails and recordings of this particular webinar through your emails. So here we go. So we are in EC2 console. So this is how the EC2 console looks, and you can see I have 4 servers actually in my account. 3 servers are shut down. I mean, it is stopped, and I have 1 running servers. Obviously, you can check this out. So you can see I have a lot of informations here to see instance ID, instance state, obviously stop, the one server is running. And I have instance type T2 small, M5 large, T2 micro. So what do you mean by this? These are the keywords what AWS used to call their servers. So EC2 has been categorized into multiple server categories. Let's imagine EC2 memory optimized servers, compute optimized servers. So those are the different categories of EC2 servers which are available for multiple different use cases. So let's imagine so there is a servers where you're thinking about memory optimization. So there are servers that are available for memory optimized EC2 servers. So you can get some more information. If I go to EC2 instance types in internet, so you will get some more details out of it. Yeah, here we go. So here I have all the different categories that we're talking about: general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized instances, accelerated computing, storage optimized, right? So if I go to general purpose, they have different kinds of general purpose EC2 instances. If I go to, let's imagine, T2. So they have T2 nano, T2 micro. So I have launched T2 micro. For example, I hope I have launched T2 micro. Yeah. So T2 micro comes with 1 virtual CPU, and so CPU credits for 6 hours, and memory 1 gig, and it comes with EBS as a storage, and network performance low to moderate. So that's how you decide. So you can this picking up the right instance completely depends on your use case. If you're looking for a lot of compute optimization servers, you can pick some compute optimized servers here, which comes with wide varieties of features. You can see here. So C4.8x large comes with 36 virtual CPUs with 60 gig memory. So and EBS, and then we have a network performance up to 10 gig, right? So it's huge. So here I have launched my EC2, and this is the Ubuntu based operating system. If I just hit launch instance here, you will find a lot of different kinds of EC2 servers which are available here. You can see I have Amazon Linux again, and I have Mac OS here. So you can just use Mac OS based EC2 here. I have Red Hat Enterprises, Ubuntu. I have launched already Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, the latest one. You have Microsoft related servers that you can host. If you have Debian 10 versions, we have Ubuntu, the later 18.04 versions, a lot of Microsoft servers, and I have Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux is Amazon's own proprietary Linux operating system. And I have few EC2 servers for deep learning purpose also, which comes with GPUs and other packages defaultly installed with that. So let me go back. I have already launched my instance. I'm just going to show you how to log into that. So yeah, so if I scroll down, you can see I'm getting some few informations about this particular EC2. You can find a public IPv4 address, public IPv4 addresses here, DNS addresses. So I'm going to use a software called Putty to SSH into my server actually. So once you launch an EC2 server, it comes with, let's imagine, a particular key, a secret key to log in. So you cannot, it's not open for in a public. You just need to have that security key. During the creation process of that EC2 server, you'll get that security key. So I have already converted that security key into dot, which can be suitable for logging in with this Putty software. So there are wide varieties of SSH softwares that you can use. I'm using this free Putty software to logging in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this IP address of my machine. So I'm going to Putty software. I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to in order to SSH, I need to provide that authentication key that I have generated already. I'm going to browse it from my PC. So I'm going to click and select. I'm just going to hit open, and here we go. So I have finally SSH'd into my Ubuntu operating system. It is asking for login. Let me just type. Yep, here we go. Finally, we are inside Ubuntu operating system. So I'm in Ubuntu operating system that I have launched, which is T2 Micro based operating system, which has only one virtual CPU. I can just do ifcon if config. Okay, sorry. Yep. I hope I'm just typing the right command. Let's just do. Yep. So I can just do. So I can create a folder. I can just deal with that right now. Okay. So right now, so I'm talking about, let's say I'm talking about Ubuntu operating system here. So which is not going to provide, let's imagine an desktop version for it. But let's imagine if you're looking for a desktop version based EC2 server, you can pick, let's imagine Microsoft Windows servers, which comes with a desktop version for it. So you can use, you cannot use putty for that. You can use a certain services where you can take the PCs into remote. So there's a default service which is available in Windows. You can use that particular software to take it in the remote and you can use it. So this is how you can access a service. As of right now, I'm accessing Ubuntu. Let's imagine I can install any software that I need. Let's imagine I want to install some web hosting services, or maybe if I want to host some email services, anything that I can do with that right now. So right now my EC2 server is only configured to allow my traffic into SSH. It's only going to use port 22. I'm not going to, I have not allowed any other traffic to enter inside. So yeah, so it is completely protected for me only to do SSH. So this is how the EC2 console works actually. So yeah, this is about EC2. So now let us get started with the next thing that we need to discuss: AWS databases and storage services. So obviously, when you're getting started with any cloud related services, understanding different kinds of databases which are available and storage services which are available is very important, right? So let me just go back to the UI, and I will just go to the services. And if I go to databases, you can see AWS offers wide varieties of database services. So as we discussed already, MongoDB, which is called as a document DB in AWS. We have DynamoDB. We have Elastic Cache and Amazon Keyspace. There are a lot of other databases, Neptune, Neptune, QLDB, and RDS. Obviously, most of you folks heard about RDS, that is called Relational Database Services. So we are talking about MySQL, PostgreSQL, right? So those kind of databases are available in RDS. So otherwise, if we are talking about storage services, AWS also offers wide varieties of storage services like AWS Backup, EFS, FSX, or maybe S3, right? Scalable storage in a cloud, S3. So we're going to talk about a few informations about S3. The most powerful storage platform was AWS has built so far. And if you think, if you are talking about any clients, any company who's using AWS, obviously they will use S3. Most probably they will be having S3 as part of their application actually. So let us have a few discussions about Amazon S3. So we are talking about Amazon S3 here. S to the power of 3, what it stands for: simple storage service. So S3 is a storage service. So what we can relate that with is nothing but, you might be using Google Drive, if I'm not wrong, right? So you might be using a Google Drive. So it is similar to Google Drive. So in AWS they call it as S3. you can do much more things similar to Google Drive, but we can do more than that with S3. So let us discuss about S3. S3 can be also represented with this particular logo, which looks like a bucket. Let's imagine if you're creating a profile in S3, it can be called as a S3 bucket. It cannot be called as a folder or something. It is called as a bucket. Inside a bucket, you can create a folders. You can dump a files like this. You can dump anything inside. It may be a pictures, videos, audio files, any kind of files like JSON, Excel sheets, anything that you want. So that's why it is called as a bucket. So what do you mean by bucket? So it's a bucket, you can throw anything inside. So that's how it is. So Amazon S3 provides a storage through web interface. I mean, you can just go to S3 console, you can upload data to your buckets. So and S3 provides an infinite storage size. S3 is an infinite storage size platform. What do you mean by infinite? Obviously, it is infinite. You can store any size of data that you want, any amount of data that you want. So S3 provides 99.9999999% durability, 99.99% of availability of an object inside. So what do you mean by availability and durability here? So what we're talking about availability and durability. So the durability, so basically we are talking about, so your data will be protected. There won't be any data corruption. There won't be any lost, your data won't be lost. Availability, your S3 will be always available 24/7. There is no downtime, those things what we are talking about. So you can store computer files up to 5 terabytes in size. Oh, wait a minute. You said it's an infinite storage. Then why you are talking about you can store computer files up to 5 terabytes in size? So yes, it is infinite, but let's imagine, okay, you're uploading let's imagine you're uploading a picture of a cat, or maybe like you're uploading a picture of you're uploading an Excel sheet, for example. A single object, a single file that you're uploading, it can be up to 5 terabytes, but obviously you can upload n number of Excel sheets which is up to 5 terabytes. You can upload any much inside. So obviously S3 provides complete durability, a low cost. This is a very important thing. So if you're looking forward for the right kind of storage platform, so I will suggest you to go with S3, obviously, which is low cost. So there are different kinds of storage platforms that are available still, but S3 provides very low cost durability, scalability in a point of view. Let's imagine we talked about scalability already. Let's imagine you're using S3 for some kind of a use case where your customer comes and upload your data to S3 buckets. Otherwise, in your application, you're storing a lot of data to S3. So it depends on the amount of traffic that is available. The scalability can be automatically taken care by Amazon. You're not going to take care of any scalability there. So Amazon can take care about that easily. So availability, security. So S3 provides a wide varieties of security properties that you can configure. So by default, S3 provides AES 256-bit encryption standard. That means you can encrypt all the data that comes inside. So flexibility and simple data transfer, that's how it works. Let's imagine if I'm uploading, let's imagine if I want to create a S3 bucket, let's imagine that can be called as a bucket, and I can create a folder inside that can be called as a key. Then I can upload a single picture inside that can be a version ID, for example. So let me give a quick look on, let us give a quick look on S3. Let's see how it looks, okay? So let us get started. So I will click on AWS icon. I will go back to my console. I will search for S3. So I will go to AWS S3 console, a scalable storage in a cloud. So this is how the S3 console will look actually. Okay, so once we are in S3 console, so you can see I have some lot of pre-existing buckets. It can be called as a bucket. I can create a new bucket if I want. I can hit create bucket, and I can just give a name, and you need to pick a region, in which region that your bucket is going to be configured. So I'm going to create my bucket in a Mumbai region. So I will just scroll down. I will hit create bucket. So the bucket is already taken. So remember, the bucket name is unique for all the peoples in that particular region. Okay, 2021 is done. 1205 then. Okay, I'm just going to create a bucket with that particular name. So now my bucket is successfully created. So here is my bucket. I can go inside my bucket, and if I want to create a new folder, I can create a new folder. Okay, so I can create a new folder, and now I am almost inside my folder. So I can click and go inside. I can hit upload, and I can upload any objects from my computer. For example, let's imagine, so I just upload the poster of this particular webinar. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to upload this poster. Yeah, which is around 700 KB. I can hit upload. Yeah, so you'll get the status once upload is successful, you'll get acknowledgement on the top. And here we go. So finally, I have my picture, which is says 44.png, which is uploaded successfully. Its type is PNG, the last modification date, and something called storage classes. So storage classes are basically, it defines S3 has different kinds of storage classes that you can use for different kinds of use cases. That each and every storage class has a different kinds of costings on top of it also. So that's about S3. And we'll discuss about databases. So there are wide varieties of databases which are available in AWS, and so there is a document DB and there is a DynamoDB. So we are talking about DynamoDB. So the DynamoDB is the most powerful database what AWS has built so far. So DynamoDB is a key value databases, so which is NoSQL database, which is again a serverless. So this word is very important. What do you mean by serverless? Serverless. So are you telling there is no servers which is running DynamoDB? So that means there is a service which is managed by AWS, which is managed service, which is DynamoDB. So you are not going to take care of anything related to managing a service for DynamoDB. So what you do, simply you create a database, dump your data. You can extract, means you can do anything with that data, like means reading a data, writing a data, right? So which is auto scalable. Again, you don't worry about anything related to a scalability, so which is completely serverless. So you can provision your read and write capabilities. I mean, how much read capacity you need, how much write capacity that you need, you can configure it. So useful for, let's imagine, wide varieties of use cases. Maybe one great use case which I want to tell, maybe storing a machine learning model served by your application. Otherwise, let's imagine you have a machine learning data science related use cases where you make a lot of machine learning predictions. You want to store all this data to DynamoDB? Yes, you can use. There are wide variety of use cases that we can still discuss on top of it. So let me show if I have some any existing DynamoDB tables. If I go to DynamoDB, so I hope I should have some DynamoDB tables in different regions. Let me show you. So if I go to, let's go to Virginia. Okay, let me just type for DynamoDB. So managed NoSQL database, not only SQL. So yeah, yep. So this is how your DynamoDB console will look. I can just click create table. I can just give a name of a table that I want. So, and you can create a partition key if you want. Let's imagine, and I can add some other details like, okay, date. So I'm just basically creating my partition key as webinar. I'm just creating one more sort key as date. So you can create, you can provide the key type for it. So maybe I want it to be string binary number, let it be string. You can also configure either it should be, your sort key should be string binary number, let it be string. And I can hit just create table. That's it, as simple as that. So which is a NoSQL database. So DynamoDB is also similar to MongoDB if you're aware about MongoDB. So now my DynamoDB table has been, is being created successfully. It's created successfully. So this is how your console looks once you created a table. So I can click on the table. I can go to items. So now I don't have any item inside. So for a sample, I will just click create item and I can create an icon. So I will just create a single item here. So I have both. So if I go to overview, so this table has both primary key and sort key. That means I need to provide both. So if I click create, so I will just tell AWS, right? Webinar, AWS webinar. So the date is, let me just mention 2021 iPhone 12 iPhone 05. Okay, so that's it. So I can hit save. So I have both primary key and sort key has been saved inside. So I can also modify it here. Otherwise, if I want to add any other item still, I can append that. Okay, let's imagine topic, and I can hit say DynamoDB. So I can hit save. So this is the key value database. So I can hit text here. You can see it's a JSON. Basically, I have a both key and values over here, right? You can also write, you can also modify it over here itself. Let's imagine I can just mention a time for this particular data, the webinar. Maybe I will just mention 7 p.m. That is more than enough. Okay, so that's invalid. I will just mention 7. That would be fine. Yeah, so okay, the time probably it might be a reserved keyword. I will just use date. Just mention 7 over here. That's it. So here we go. So that's how it is done. So this DynamoDB is a key value database. So which is serverless completely. You can interact with DynamoDB with wide varieties of services. There is a service called Lambda for its a compute services. You can use Lambda to dump some data to DynamoDB. So yeah, this is about DynamoDB. So let's proceed. So we discussed about DynamoDB. What is this DynamoDB? So then finally we'll discuss about one more topic, that is AWS security, identity, and compliances. So now we have some idea about what is AWS, right? And what is EC2, and what are the different kinds of databases, storage services are available. And we need to discuss about one more topic called security, identity, and compliances. What do you mean by that? So we are talking about a cloud platform where you can run your application. You need to take care about your users, how they can access your cloud infrastructure, how your internal employees they can access your data, right? There are multiple aspects like that. So we need to discuss about one topic called IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. So IAM users and groups. What do you mean by that? So let's imagine we are talking about let's imagine we'll take a companies like Netflix. Okay, so Netflix is a huge company. So so what do you think? Netflix will have multiple AWS accounts for all the employees who work there. Let's imagine Netflix might have more than 5,000 employees, for example. So do you think every user in that company they have individual AWS account they use for developing applications? No, it's not going to work in that way. So they may have multiple AWS accounts. That's a different scenario. But let's imagine for their production related services, they have one AWS account. By using one AWS account, that can be called as a root account. So if you create a AWS account, you will log into your AWS account with username and password. That means email address and password, for example, right? So by using your root account, so you can create a lot of users in it. I mean, you can create a lot of users. So your users going to log in with, let's imagine their own username and password that is provided by your AWS account. So with account ID. So you can create n number of user accounts. So and you can provide it to your employees who are working inside your company. So for each and every user, you can create a policies. You can create something called groups. So what do you mean by that? Let's imagine something like this. I create 3 groups, for example. So I might be having a group of employees who might be developers in your company. Let's imagine a group of employees who's working in a company who's managing operations, and there is a group which is common for both developers and operations, that can be auditing team, right? So each and every group can be allocated with different roles and policies. What do you mean by this roles and policies? So what is this roles and policies? Basically, this roles and policies defines what users can do, what users cannot do. So what is this policy in a general terms? So let's think about a government. Okay, so we are part of we are part of a government, right? So you might be coming from a different countries. I mean, each and every government has their own policies. I mean, the law, right? So we stick to those policies, right? Those policies defines what user can, what a citizen of that country can do, what he cannot do, right? So in the same way, we can write a policy inside AWS. These policies are basically a JSON based policies. So this policies defines what user can do, what user cannot do. For example, let's imagine I have my S3 bucket. So let's imagine I have a user. So you can write a policy. The policy sits in between that particular service and you. So this policy defines, let's imagine you want to give a permission to that user only to read a data from that particular S3 bucket. So you are not going to allow the user to write a data. So the writing a data is restricted, or maybe you don't allow the user to delete a data. So the deleting a data is restricted. So those kind of policies can be written by IAM. So IAM will give a provision to write those policies, and those policies can be linked to a role. So role is basically you can create a role. A role can have a multiple policies inside. So that's how the things work inside. So this is about IAM. So if you are using AWS, let's imagine if you want to host some static websites on S3, you can host static websites on S3. You can use DynamoDB let's imagine you want to build some chat system. You want to use a DynamoDB. Yes, you can use it. So and you need to use this IAM policies, like what users can do, what users cannot do, right? So yeah, this is about IAM. So these are the four important topics that we need to discuss. And finally, here we go. So we'll discuss about. So let's imagine. So you want to get started with AWS. You want to do some hands-on. You want to gain some experience on EC2, DynamoDB, and not only that, there are a lot of services still that you need to explore. So what is the opportunity that is waiting for you in the market? So what are the different job roles that you can get? So what is the job, how is the job market right now? What is the pay scale that you have right now? Let us have some discussions about that. So so this is the AWS job vacancy trend analytics, which we got from itjobwatch.co.uk. You can also go and review it over there. So this particular statistics is only related to the job vacancy trend related to AWS. So you can see in the beginning of 2011, the actual trend started to rise exponentially. You can see the amount of the job vacancies that are available in the year 2021. Obviously you can see some dip over here due to this COVID situation, but yeah, now the trend is still rising up. So that means the quick validation is the amount so the AWS holds a majority of a cloud industry that is directly proportional to the amount of job opportunities that are available in the market right now. So here is a quick slide that represents AWS job opportunities. This is the pay scale range in many different countries. So you can see, so this particular AWS solution architect salary. So all the topics that we are trying to explore today is part of AWS solution architect role. So yeah, so average the salary in Malaysia starts around that is 1,47,000 ringgits. So we have in Singapore dollars here, and we have in Indian rupees. It's almost you can see like 16,76,000. I mean, am I correct? Yeah. So per annum, yeah, 16 lakhs 76,160. So then we have the pay scale range in United Kingdom. And so AWS solution architect salary in Australian dollars, and obviously in United Arabs Emirates and in Canada. So there's no doubt about it. AWS comes with different job roles. AWS solution architect. So if you want to get started with AWS, let's imagine you want to explore EC2, you want to explore, you want to know how to use S3, you want to know how to use DynamoDB services. So everything comes under AWS solution architect role. So and the AWS has many different job roles, not just AWS solution architect. AWS has AWS machine learning specialist roles. AWS has DevOps roles. So it's completely up to what you want to pick. So for a beginners, so picking up knowing much into AWS solution architect would be the great choice actually. So yes, today, if you just Google it, there are wide varieties of job opportunities that are available around India. It may be you're joining from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. You might be joining from Karnataka. You might be joining from Maharashtra. There are more than 100 plus jobs that is waiting for you today. Or you are joining from UK, United States. Opportunities are in numbers. So and this slide. Obviously, this slide I want to show for all the peoples when they are joining my webinars or workshops. So we are talking about the transformation, how quick we are exploring, how quick the industries are getting transformed, right? Day by day, the technology, the growth of technology. So here is a quick example. You can see just in 10 years, just in 10 years, the cameraman and the pilots were being replaced. I mean, basically they are upgraded, right? Basically through these drones. No one right now in a film industry you can see, or maybe the TV reporters who is carrying a camera, or maybe a in a chopper, right? Something like this. So this transformation just happened in 10 years. So the cloud is the future. Obviously, uh, you will see there's a lot of companies they are transforming into the cloud. So I don't see any companies who are telling cloud is bad. I don't see any companies who is telling cloud is bad. Every companies will be transforming to the cloud industry. It may be Amazon or Google or maybe Microsoft Azure. It's time to pick what is right for you actually. And here we go. So today what I did for all the time, I just showed you a demos. I just showed you demos. So do you like to have some hands-on experience on top of it? I mean, so whatever I do, what if you can able to do some hands-on? What if after creating an AWS account, what if we can able to build a one end-to-end project? Let's imagine we use S3, we use DynamoDB, we use other services, not only S3 and DynamoDB. Let's imagine we use something called API gateway, we explore EC2. What if you can create your own EC2 server by your own? So what if we can able to create an end-to-end application, maybe let's imagine a chat application if we can able to create, or maybe some kind of a support ticketing application that we can create, for example. So tell me yes in case if you're looking for hands-on. If you are looking for hands-on, just tell me yes. So I hope everyone, obviously, right? Because no one just want a theory. Just tell me yes if you're looking for hands-on. I can see a lot of S's today. So awesome. I really appreciate your patience, obviously. So we are just have 5 minutes more. We will end our session. So I will open the session for Q&A soon. So I can see a lot of people are looking for an hands-on. So here comes a big surprise. So where I can help you. So the surprise is here. Here we go. So we are conducting a complete hands-on session for AWS beginners. So we call it as AWS for Beginners Workshop. So which is happening on December 25th, 26th, that is on Saturday and Sunday. So the session timings are something like this, which is going to start around 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. IST. Totally, it's going to be a 10 hours session. So in this 10 hours session, we're going to explore AWS by doing lot of hands-on. So this is how the things are. So we're going to do more than 15 plus hands-on exercises. I mean, whatever I do in my PC, you're going to replicate on your PC. We're going to explore EC2, we're going to explore S3, lot of other services. So we're going to build one real-time industry project. I mean, we're going to combine, let's imagine DynamoDB, API gateways, few other services to build one application, so you can explore that. So 10 hours consisting of both theory plus hands-on. Okay. And yep, so make sure you register, don't miss it. So you will I'm pretty much sure you're going to get a lot of hands-on experience on this. It's going to be a lot of fun, like this webinar actually. And okay, someone asked, okay, so what is the charges for this particular workshop? Is there any charges for this? Yes, It's a paid workshop. So yes, it's a paid workshop. So let me explore what is the price. So we try to manage the pricing accordingly. So it is a very affordable workshop that you can find in a market. So I can bet it again. So you can just go and Google it and you can find answers to that. So here is a pricing structure what we have. So the workshop is getting started with 1999 Indian INR rupees. So more importantly, it is only for 25 people. That's it. 25 peoples. So why? Because we are doing this for only for 25 peoples. It's a hands-on workshop, not a webinar. It's a workshop. So where everyone will be doing a hands-on along with me side by side. So that's why we're sticking to 25 peoples, where I want to make sure to clear all your doubts during a session. So you can find two tickets. One is per person in case if you are an individual. So if you are joining as individual, you can just go to the individual seat. Otherwise, if you're joining as a group, you will get some 10% discount for a group ticket. So you can just pay 3,599 rupees. Yes, you will get a certificate. Someone is asking for a certificate. You will get a certificate. Not just a certificate. You will get access to free ebooks, access to recordings of that workshop, community support. This is the more important aspect of us. So what do you mean by community support is nothing but, so after this workshops there is no tata bye bye. So every participant who attend our webinars or maybe workshop, especially a workshop especially, so we will be adding those participants into our community group. So the groups can be a Facebook group, WhatsApp group. We'll make sure we'll support them. It may be any questions that you have, doubts that you have. We share a lot of reads. We do a lot of webinars like this that you can attend for free. So yeah, that's what that community support, access to webinars and hands-on guide. So if you are international participants that you want to know the price in dollars, it's in dollars. It's $30 only. It's very affordable. I know a lot of people call me like, why you guys are doing this workshops for very affordable price. So this is how the pricing for in the dollars. And if you want to like this is not the first time that we are doing this workshops. So we have expertise in our AWS, we have expertise in machine learning. And so we are a company which is incubated around PSG Step Coimbatore. We are supported by Department of Science and Technology, and we are actually funded by a scheme called Nidhi EIR, and we have won various different awards. Best Startup Award, FKCC of Bangalore around 2018, and we are part of AWS Activate program. So where AWS supports us in developing our products, and we have developed few IoT projects in for Reliance Unlimited. It's an IoT company, and we represented our company in many international stages also. And we have a lot of happy customers who talks about us, who attend our previous ML workshops, our courses. They are really happy with what we are doing. They are keep on encouraging us. They are keep on supporting us. I hope like there might be few participants who might be joining this webinars also, who might be attended our previous workshops and courses. We do also an offline workshops. We do it from Bangalore, but it has been due to this COVID situation. We has been holding this for a while. We know that still the world is getting difficult. We are getting a new variant, right? So Omicron. So yeah. So stay safe and stay skilled, obviously. So just join this workshop. Let's have fun again by doing lot of hands-on. So now I will open the session for Q&A. So I will try to answer all your questions. And now I'm going to share, like a lot of people asked, how can I join this workshop? Where is the registration link? I will share the registration link in a chat window. So I will also show you what we're going to exactly discuss in that particular, what we're going to learn in that particular workshop on 25th and 26th. Here we go. I'm going to share the two links. The first link is for download. The first link is for registration for our workshop, and second link is to download the workshop curriculum. The curriculum, basically what we're going to learn in that 2 days. So I will also show a curriculum right now. So what we're going to learn exactly in that 2 days. So I will repeat again. The first link I have shared is for the registration, and second link that I have shared is for downloading the workshop curriculum PDF that I'm sharing here. So what we're going to learn in that 2 days. So here we go. The highlights are this. So we're going to stick to this five highlights of the entire workshop. So introduction to AWS web services, IAM and AWS CLI. We're going to explore IAM and AWS CLI in deep. We're going to explore AWS EC2. You're going to create a server. You're going to host it. And we're going to talk about AWS DynamoDB and storage services. We're going to explore DynamoDB in deep, S3 in a deep. We're going to learn how to create a bucket, how to create a databases, and we're going to explore AWS serverless services. We're going to talk about the most powerful serverless services, AWS Lambda. We're going to do hands-on on top of it, API gateway, and other monitoring services. Let me just show what we're going to learn here in detail. So the first topic would be introduction to Amazon Web Services, a quick tour again. We're going to explore a few more details on top of it. And as part of AWS IAM and AWS CLI, so we're going to learn how to create a user, how to create a group, how to create a policy, right? And how to use AWS CLI on Windows, Mac, Linux. We're going to do some hands-on. And here we go. Amazon EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. So we're going to learn how to create a EC2 server, how to create a security group. Let's imagine if you want to host a website, how to create a port number. I mean, how to provide a permission for port 80, port 22, or other ports. And we're going to learn how to SSH into that particular server that you have created via PuTTY in different operating systems. And we're going to explore a few databases. What is the database is called Amazon RDS, that is relational databases, Amazon Aurora, Elastic Cache, and we're going to do hands-on on DynamoDB. And we're going to explore storage services. We're going to do complete hands-on on S3 and other storage services like EFS, EBS, Storage Gateway, and Snowball family. And very importantly, AWS serverless services. We're going to explore AWS DynamoDB in deep. We're going to write some programs on top of it for building that application that I'm talking about, real-time application. We're going to explore AWS API gateway. We're going to create an API gateway. Basically, we're going to create a REST API. And AWS monitoring services, very important topic. I mean, how do I monitor my application once I host on my website? It's very important to make sure if there is any drift in your application, if there is any errors in that application. So we're going to talk about a very powerful service called AWS CloudWatch, and one more service called Cloud Trial, Event Bridge. So you can see I have mentioned hands-on. Wherever I mention hands-on, that means there is something to do with hands-on. So and the final topic is about Route 53. Route 53 is all about how to, let's imagine, how to manage your domain, how to purchase your domain, how the DNS services on AWS. So you can download this curriculum PDF from the second link that I have shared. And the first link is for the registration. So now I will open the session for a Q&A. So you can ask me any questions that you have. You can unmute your mic, you can talk, otherwise you can mention in a chat. So let me try to answer your questions. There are few questions already. Okay, let me just try to answer those questions.
I saw myself, Mohammed.
Hey, Mohammed, please. Yep.
Yeah. Is it like a totally exploring sessions? Will it be the exploring sessions for the beginners? Will it helpful for making the careers in this AWS?
Exactly. Yeah, so this particular workshop is especially designed keeping a beginners in a mind. So this workshop, let me tell you the three main takeaways from this particular workshop for the beginners. So the first takeaway would be you will be exploring AWS. I mean, you'll be getting a complete knowledge on how to use AWS in a first hand. What is AWS? And second thing is you are not only exploring AWS here, you're exploring the few services related to databases, storage platforms, serverless services, especially which is ruling the world right now. So those things. So second thing, and third thing is about our community. So we provide community support. I mean, even after the workshop, you can ask us lot of questions in a group. We will help you. So that's how the entire workshop is designed. Sorry. Yeah. So this will be a perfect match for the beginners. And if you're asking for a prerequisites, there is no much prerequisites. Anyone from a science and engineering background, they can take this particular workshop. There is no much programming experience needed. If you have any basics with any programming language, that would be more enough actually.
So is it necessary to have the knowledge of this Linux commands or those things,
Not necessary. Not
Ubuntu,
necessary.
all
No, not
related?
necessary. So that completely depends on what you want to do after that. So what we are going to learn here, let's imagine how to use EC2 in a first hand, how to launch an instance, what kind of storage that you need to pick, whether you need to use
Are we doing
SSD.
any end-to-end project like the real-time project in the
Yeah, so exactly. So
today's?
we're going to we're going to build a serverless application on AWS by using, let's imagine we're going to use DynamoDB, we're going to use Lambda and few other services, especially API gateway to build a serverless application. It can be anything. It may be a chat service, like a ticketing service, anything that you can build. Yeah, we're going to build it. So whatever we are learning, like DynamoDB, Lambda. So at the end of the day, if we're going to combine that together to create a end-to-end application.
Okay.
So Vijay has asked a question, can you get a similar traditional databases like Oracle SQL servers in AWS? So Vijay, as I mentioned, AWS has a service called RDS, that is relational databases. You'll find Oracle over there, MySQL over there.
So will we
Uh,
we'll get the recordings, right?
exactly. Yes. Yes, Mohammed. You will get a recordings once after finishing that workshop. Yes.
So are you providing any the job assistance after completing this? You said that you are into the product-based company, right?
Exactly.
You are
So let me
doing
tell
this.
you what kind of let me tell you what kind of support that we provide for our participants. So we apart from the product what product based company, what we are trying to do, we are trying to form a community of peoples who are really interested in AWS, machine learning, IoT, and other services inside. So we keep on publishing the data into our groups. It may be the opportunities in our network that you can quickly go and grab. Yes, you can do, and we share a lot of informations related to interviews. Let's imagine how to crack an interview, the questions that you might expect in interviews, the things that you need to know. So those kind of support that we do obviously inside the group.
Okay. So one more question. Actually, I have the knowledge of Python script, Python
Yep.
programming. So will it be helpful in taking this AWS? Is this
Obviously,
knowledge?
obviously. So let's imagine, Mohammed, you want to build a serverless application. So you're going to use Lambda. Okay, let's imagine Lambda is a serverless application that is going to talk to your DynamoDB, that's going to query a data from DynamoDB, and it's going to provide you a data back to your front end application. So Lambda, by using Lambda, you can write Python application to interact with your DynamoDB. You can use JavaScript, you can use .NET even on Lambda. It's going to be absolutely helpful. So, and Mohan Rao asked a similar question. I am a full stack developer. Will this be useful? Yes, Mohan. So this particular workshop that we're going to talk about, it's exactly matched for a full stack developers. So we're going to build this end-to-end application by using DynamoDB, AWS Lambda, all those stuff. It's exactly matched for you, what I can mention.
Yes, sir. Actually, one more question, sir. Sorry for interrupting.
Please, yeah. It's okay. You can
Uh,
ask me a number of questions.
yeah, are we going to host any websites? Are we going to see hosting the website using this AWS
Um,
service?
Yeah, basically, we are not going to focus on, let's imagine, designing a website, writing a HTML, all the
Mhm.
stuff. That's not a focus. What we're going to do is we're going to create a, let's imagine, API, REST API. Basically, we're going to create a API, and we're going to design an application, basically how to query a data from that API. So those kind of things, actually. So yes, I'm not going to teach you how to write a HTML, but
Yes,
let's
yes, it's
imagine the
not
code
difficult.
will be given. There will be a predefined template will be given, so you're going to replace your API gateway link over there. So that's how it's going to be designed. Yes. So we'll be talking about Route 53. So Route 53 is a platform where you can create your domain, all those stuff. And we'll be also discussing about few hosting platforms. Like if you want to host your application on S3 or maybe using certain services like AWS Amplify. Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So Shabrish asked a question. So EC2 gives us access to remote computers with certain space through our personal computers. Exactly correct, Shabrish. Yeah. So are you going to provide a certificate after attending this workshop? Yes. Uh, 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 Prakya. So if I'm pronouncing your names, please excuse me. So if you're pronouncing it wrong. So yes, you will get a certificate after completing this workshop. This workshop perfectly matches for the students, working professionals. If you're a college professor, yeah, everything.
So do we need to have the login of this AWS service before we join the session?
Exactly. So, so for the people who are going to register for this workshop, we will help you to create a free AWS account. You don't want to worry about that. Yeah. So people are asking
Yeah,
how to get a recordings and free ebooks. We will be emailing you that probably by tomorrow. You will receive it in an email itself. Yeah, please. Someone is asking a question.
yeah. Hi, Sarath Naik here.
Hi. Yep. Please go ahead.
Sarath, if you hosting some application like means we basically from the pharma industry, and is there
Okay.
AWS will give the means like compliance and all these things, when like if you can ask for the means like CSV validation and all these things.
Yes. So yes, for example, if you're talking about many different regions, that means different countries. For example, if you're talking about Mumbai in India, so AWS has all the complaints is done on that. So you can receive all the complaints related informations on AWS websites itself. So yeah, so they have got everything in terms of data privacy act as part of AWS in Indian government, all those stuff. Yeah.
In that website we will get, or we need to means suppose request to the AWS services and we'll get.
So, so if I'm not wrong, if you're thinking of, if you're talking about, if you're not talking about this AWS Data Privacy Act, all those stuff. Otherwise, if you're talking about to host your website, if you're talking about certificates, basically to enable, let's imagine HTTPS based certificates that you want to get from AWS. If your question is much related to that, yes, AWS has got everything inside that. You can use a service called KMS, key management services, to generate all the securities keys that you want inside.
No, I'm talking about the validation. Means like if it's hosting one services like our
Yeah.
analytical application or something ERP or something, that
Yep.
validation means end-to-end validation they will support to us, or we have to
Yes,
go
AWS
bunny third
supports
party
it.
support.
Then yeah, then it's a first answer that I provided. Yes, so AWS provides support. So what happens once you create an AWS account? For every AWS account, there will be a
Okay.
AWS business development manager. I mean, someone there will be a person from AWS will be assigned for your account. So probably there will be an account manager, what it is called, for every AWS. So they can support you in all the aspects that you need actually in terms of this compliances.
Is it a paid basis or it will be?
It's a person from AWS. It's a person from AWS.
No, it is a paid service or it will be free of. Means,
Actually, that depends. That depends on what kind of things that you need to. But anything related to this data privacy, the compliances is free actually. That depends if you have any other requirements. You can get complete information with your account manager actually.
okay.
Okay, so Mohan Rao has asked one more question, sir. Sir, I'm zero in AWS. Will it from scratch? Yes, exactly. So if you don't have any knowledge on AWS, if you have zero knowledge, yes, this is where you can get started in this workshop.
So do we need to do any certifications after this, like the AWS certification?
Yes. So here is the thing. So this particular workshop is completely based from AWS Solution Architect Associate Certification course actually. So here is the thing. So the people's we also do this AWS Solution Architect Associate Certification. So so anyone who attended our workshop, let's imagine AWS for beginners workshop, they will be given discount to attend our AWS Solution Architect certificate. I mean, so according to your question, so what kind of certificate that I can take after completing this workshop? So I will suggest AWS Solution Architect Associate or a professional.
Okay.
So Mohan asked one more question. I used to create a website, but I don't don't know how to host all those things in AWS, will it be AWS will do that, sir? Yes, you can use AWS to host your websites, Mohan Rao. You can use either S3, otherwise you can use Amplify. There are wide varieties of services. You can also use EC2, right, to do that.
So one more question. What is the difference between this AWS certified cloud practitioner? What do you mean by this? Like cloud
Okay, so
practitioner.
AWS Cloud. Okay, so AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner. So that's a very beginner level certification. Yes. So AWS Solution Architect much deals with. Let's imagine. So tomorrow, like let's imagine a client is coming to you. Let's imagine there is some e-commerce. There's a client who want to build a e-commerce application on top of AWS. So AWS Solution Architect, the role of a solution architect is to provide an architecture, basically. So what kind of database that you can use, whether I can use DynamoDB for this use case, whether I can use S3 for this use case, what kind of hosting services that I can use, can I host this application on Amplify? So what kind of what kind of database that I can use in case if you want to use DynamoDB. So those kind of things that will be dealt with AWS solution architect. So partitioner is much on the basics. You will learn more about IAM and other details over there. So
So
as you
you mean
asked,
to say
AWS
that
has
cloud
many.
practitioner, those concepts will be cleared in this workshop, right? All those things.
So cloud practitioner, I mean, I'm not telling this workshop is actually a certification course. No. So a certification course duration will be at least 30 to 40 hours. So what we are covering in this particular certificate, in this particular workshop, is part of AWS Solution Architect Associate.
Okay.
So let me know, folks, if you have any other questions. I'm here to help. I will spare few more minutes. So someone asked a question, what is the work of AWS DevOps? So DevOps, as I mean, development and operation. So AWS DevOps is much, you deal with the development and operation related services in AWS. Still in DevOps, you'll be exploring Lambda and other services too. So most of the services as a interrelated services that you're going to use. For example, if you take a certificate called AWS Machine Learning Specialty, still you will be exploring S3, still you will be exploring DynamoDB and those stuff.
I think there is no programming skills required for this.
Yes, for this workshop, yeah, not much prerequisites on programming, but still if you have some basics, that can help actually. Awesome. I will spare 2 more minutes in case if you have any doubts. So let me just stop the recording right now.